Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of Noble Borrowing. Yes, there is a very serious coup d'etat in Togo right now as we are speaking. Yes, we're all here when Burkina Faso, Mali and Niger went into coup d'etat because their leaders were not doing the right thing. Yes, the streets are on fire. Everybody's running for his or her life in Togo currently. Yes, I will be playing a video for you to watch and know what is really going on in Togo. But before that, I will give you a brief of everything that is happening in Togo. Yes, there have been a family in Togo that has ruled the country for over 57 years. This is not easy at all. The country has been ruled by the same people for 57 years. There was an amendment of the constitution in which the president stated that only parliamentarians will be allowed to elect the president, meaning citizens are not allowed. How can this happen? How can you be in a country and it's only your parliamentarians that will be allowed to elect the president? We, the citizens, are not part of this. How? We don't elect our leaders, only parliament will do that for us? Yes, this is what is really going on in Togo right now. And the citizens are saying that they won't agree to it. So it has been hit all over the streets of Togo. Yes, people are running for their lives because the government is saying that only MPs, only the parliamentarians will be allowed to elect the president. But that is not what the citizens are going to agree with, because all the countries, they elect their president through the citizens. But how can this initiative be taken by only one man? This is a lot to take. Yes, without wasting your time, I will play the video for you to watch. But before that, please subscribe to this channel, like, and then turn on your notification if today is the first time of being on this channel.
Unfortunately, this is not the first time that political violence has plagued the nation. To make matters worse, the country is also dealing with terrorist incursions in its northern region. The situation is complex, and the stakes are high. It remains to be seen what the future holds for this troubled nation. After Niger, Mali, Burkina Faso and Senegal, another West African country is starting a fight for complete freedom. Tensions are on the rise in Togo, following the adoption of a new constitution on March 25, 2024. The constitution now grants Parliament the power to elect the President of the Republic, which means that the Togolese will no longer have the privilege of electing their president. The political opposition and civil society organizations have taken to the streets in protests. They are calling for their voices to be heard and demanding that the government address their concerns. However, instead of addressing the situation, the government has responded with repression and arrests. Togo is a small country with a population of approximately 9 million people as of 2024. However, despite its size, it has been ruled by the same family for an astonishing 57 years. Tuareg Gnassingbé's ascension to power was highly controversial, with the opposition alleging that the elections were rigged in his favor. This sparked widespread protests across the country, with many Togolese demanding an end to the family's long reign. However, the protests were met with brutal repression, with security forces using tear gas and live ammunition to disperse crowds. Despite this, the opposition has continued to push for democratic reforms and an end to the Gnassingbé dynasty. In 2017, a wave of protests erupted across the country, with thousands taking to the streets to demand the president's resignation and an overhaul of the political system. These protests were met once again with a violent crackdown, with dozens of people killed and hundreds arrested. It appears that the leader is employing a strategy to uphold their position of authority and secure their family's legacy in power. However, one potential concern is that the new constitution does not take into account the time already spent in power. This could potentially allow Tuareg Gnassingbé, who has been in power since 2005, to remain in office until 2031 if he is re-elected in 2025. Additionally, the presidential term has been extended by 1 year, from 5 to 6, while limiting the number of mandates to 1. Experts suggest that the power will now rest in the hands of the President of the Council of Ministers, who will assume the role of Prime Minister, appointed by the deputies. The proposal to create the position of President of the Council of Ministers in Togo has caused a stir among the opposition. This new position would hold sovereign functions, granting the holder real power. The mandate for this position is set at 6 years, with no indication of whether it can be renewed or not. The opposition's concern is that President Faure Gnassingbé may be appointed to this role, allowing him to remain in power indefinitely. Despite these lofty goals, the opposition and civil society are up in arms, denouncing the move as a constitutional coup d'etat and accusing the president of attempting to cling to power. Following widespread protests in response to the adoption of this new constitution, President Faure Gnassingbé has requested a re-examination of the text in the National Assembly. In light of the political tensions, the president has also postponed the legislative and regional elections originally slated for April 20th, 2024, with no new date set yet. To address the concerns of the people, the National Assembly will embark on a 3-day tour across the country to consult traditional leaders and various organized groups on how to improve the constitution. This campaign, known as the Information and Listening Tour of the Populations on the Revision of the Constitution, aims to present the new constitution to the public and gather their feedback. Meanwhile, the opposition and civil society have called for 3 days of demonstrations on April 11th, 12th and 13th, 2024, as part of their counterattack actions against the new constitution. Even though this is something that can't be considered due to past experiences, some news sources are reporting that a group of 11 civil society organizations in Togo have voiced their concerns over the postponement of elections and the government's proposed constitutional revision. They argue that the holding of legislative and regional elections, which are constitutionally mandated, should not be connected to the government's controversial constitutional changes. The coalition has called on the international community to take action, condemning the government's restriction of citizens' rights to protest and urging the United States, the European Union, Germany, France, the African Union, and ECOWAS to push for the International Criminal Court to investigate the situation in Togo before it's too late. While the government asserts that it is not repressing its opposition, but rather maintaining public order, the civil society organizations maintain that the situation is dire and requires immediate attention. The political tensions in Faure Gnassingbe's country are a cause for concern. As the mediator in the affair of the 49 Ivorian soldiers detained in Mali, the question arises, how far will these tensions go?
Yes, as we just watched, what do you think? This is so bad. How can you rule a country for about 57 years and now it's time for election and you are saying that only members of the parliament will be allowed to elect a leader? Regardless, how? The citizens are supposed to elect the leader, but not only the parliamentarians. Because the president is not coming to rule only the parliamentarians, but rather the citizens as a whole. Yes, they should be entitled to elect their president because that is what is done everywhere in the world. How can this be done? This is so bad. What do you think about this? Togo being part of the West Africa countries, we think ECOWAS should do something because this is really bad. If we are going to sit down and watch all the West Africa countries being ruled in the way the leaders like, rather how the citizens are supposed to be ruled, it's too bad. This is not good. How can a country be ruled by the same person for 57 years and right now it's time for election? You are telling the citizens that they are not allowed to take part in the election, only the parliamentarian. Meaning, if you have 200 parliamentarians, it's only 200 parliamentarians that is going to select a president for the country against maybe a 50 million population, a 30 million. How is this done on earth? This is so bad. This is Africa. Why are we taking this kind of initiative that is making our continent look so bad? This is sad. Yes, please don't forget to like and subscribe to this channel for more updates on this issue.